Hey, gun people! Well, they finally released the second part of this interview with this armor. I haven't watched it yet. It looks like it's, 2 hours. So, this might be a multi-part on, the interview. On the first interview, her attorney told his client, who is the armor, that they just want to take a swab and, the interview should last an hour. Well, the first interview lasted an hour. This looks like another one. I don't know if they left and came back. I'll probably be able to tell by the clothes they're wearing. But anyway, here we go with the second part of the interview of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, whatever name she's using today, the armor that I think brought live ammo out. But here we go.
People accidentally shot on a movie set.
The filing says officers later found 7 live rounds in the...
Whoa, what's the filing that says 7 live rounds? Where did they find them? Wow, you gotta be kidding me.
The filing says officers later found 7 live rounds in the ammo box.
What ammo box? Wow, I didn't see that news clip. All right, here we go.
Have you yourself, and not just on this set, but have you ever encountered a defective blank or
a defective dummy?
Yeah.
So, I've had a couple of blanks that haven't gone off, but usually that's because the actor doesn't pull the hammer all the way back, and so it'll just be at half cock, and so when they shoot it, it won't ignite it.
That's incorrect. The gun shouldn't fire at a half cock. The half cock is a safety. So that is incorrect. That's not why the round didn't go off, because it was half cock. Now maybe they left their finger on the trigger and it could have been actor error, but a gun, single action revolvers that they're using, because they're using real guns, they do not fire in half cock.
And I usually just say like, oh, it was a misfire, to kind of save the actor's face a little bit in that case.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So she kind of said that she hasn't had a blank not fire unless it's actor error. That's kind of what she just said.
in terms of bad dummies, I had never experienced a bad.
What's a bad dummy? I mean, the question should be, have you ever had a dummy round that actually fired or that turned out to be a blank? Have you ever had a blank round that you fired and it didn't go bang? That would have been a clearer question, but okay.
Bad dummy.
okay. So what's your standard protocol, like, if one of them's defective?
God, this interviewer is so weak. Has no idea what she's talking about, and just, kind of,
The dummies or the blanks?
Either one.
Okay, so if the blanks are defective, usually I'll just take them, I'll put them in my pocket, I'll save them for later, and then if I'm curious enough, I'll just go ahead and shoot them and be like, okay, yeah, they didn't pull the hammer all the way back. Or
if I'm curious enough, sometimes I'll shoot them, sometimes I don't. See, a lot of this is where she gets into negligence. There's no standardized procedure. There's no consistent way that I do things to ensure, sometimes a live round may get in there, and sometimes that's why you don't do it this way.
If the dummies were defective, I guess, I would put them in my pocket and just save them till later and check them out.
Okay. Have you ever...
Bad, wasted question that really got no information.
In your history of working, encountered live rounds on the set?
Never.
Okay. And
I can't even hear this freaking interviewer's question. She freaking mumbles and talking. Did you ever?
have you ever, in your history of working, encountered live rounds on the set?
Never.
Okay, did you ever in the history encounter live rounds in a set? And you know what? I don't hear that good. So maybe this is my fault that I can't hear.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because every dummy I've ever shaken has been a dummy, and The other ones have holes in the side, and I've never experienced a round that looked like a dummy and behaved like a blank or anything. So, yeah.
So this, what's she saying? This is the first time ever that this has happened. I don't know about that, because they've had some accidental discharges. Now, an accidental discharge could be that somebody was playing around doing what they shouldn't do, or, you know, the gun was loaded for set and someone else picked it up. So that wouldn't necessarily be her fault if someone else did something.
I am shaking all of them most of the time.
Okay.
I am shaking all of them most of the time. That means you're not shaking them all the time.
So,
And then I know you've said this a million times, so just do me a favor. Go over each round and then how the round works.
each round of blanks.
So she doesn't even know how to ask a question. She says, can you go over each round, tell me how they work? Look, how many different rounds do you use on a set? You use blanks and you use dummies. Is there any other type of round? No. So there's only two type of round, blanks and dummies. Can you explain to me how a blank works? Can you explain to me how a dummy works? Jesus, this interviewer just sucks.
And dummies. So I know that
Okay.
there's like obviously a couple different kinds of dummies.
All right, yeah. Okay.
You don't have to go into like
No,
every
it's okay.
specific caliber or anything of this sort, but just
Okay. Let's, all right. So, a lot of dummies, the ones with primer caps, those ones mostly go in the belts and everything. A lot of the primer caps are punctured most of the time, you know, because they get...
A lot and most of the time. Those are not good answers. Those are not the answers that I want. Either they all are punctured or they not. Is that standard for some to be and some not to be? What decides whether the ones are punched or not? Are they kept in different boxes? Or do you load sometimes? There's no questioning of anything.
get hit while they're in the gun. So those will go in the gun sometimes if I don't have the other ones. There are some with holes in the side that also still have the primer caps and everything. And then there's the ones with no primer caps, and there's a hole in the side sometimes too with those, and sometimes there's not.
Gee, sometimes and sometimes there's not, and ain't no damn wonder we got live rounds of people getting killed.
And mostly I like to put the ones with no primer caps into the guns, you know, just to make everyone feel safe.
Feel safe. Not that they are safe. I just want them to feel safe.
And then for the other ones, those go in the belts, you know, and the ones that have the primer cap and the hole in the side are good for both, really.
okay. And then
For all the lows,
Jesus, this woman's got more tattoos than freaking... No wonder she's always wearing a long sleeve shirt. She's tattooed up everywhere. Rick, your tattooism. Whatever.
yeah, all right. So for all the blanks, all the quarters, so there's eighth loads. Those are the super quietest ones, and I just worked with Ryan Armstrong, that little 11-year-old on the old way, and I had her use those. So especially if it's someone that's really young and new with the guns, I'll make sure that they're the smallest load possible, which is an eighth. Some horses require eighth loads. Most of the time I'll put the box and I'll put horsey rounds on them in my own handwriting.
Oh, she puts horsey rounds. Oh, ain't that cute? She got a little horsey round. Actually, I'm glad she does that. That's because horses go deaf a lot because they shoot freaking blanks in their ears. And they don't put earplugs in it, and they think, oh, they're a horse. Well, anyway, I digress. I don't want to get on my horse stuff.
So that way I know.
And are those the eights?
Yeah, those are the eighths. And then sometimes, you know, I will, if it's super close proximity and inside eighths too, but quarters also work for inside proximities that are close. And then on top of that, for the quarters, around kids, around horses too, that's like the last size pretty much allowed. And then we do the half loads if it's going into like a rifle or if we're outside. Like we did a lot of half loads on the show because a lot of it was outside. And then for the full loads, it's very rare still that I use a full load unless like an actor is just really weird and wants it. Alec only wanted to train with full loads because he wanted it to look realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Unless an actor's really weird and want it, And then she says, Alex always wanted it, which translates, she thinks Alex is really weird.
And most of the time I'll use full loads if it's a really big gun, like a trapdoor or something, a trapdoor rifle. That would have a lot of smoke coming out of it, so you want to make sure it looks realistic.
Okay. Were all of these used for rust?
Fulls were used for rust. Some of my eighths were used for rust. Quarters were used for rust, and halves were used for rust. Yeah. Okay. So it was really a variety, and just depending on the situation.
Okay.
This would have been a good time to ask, how many rounds did you fire? How many blank rounds, including quarter, eighth, full, half? How many rounds were fired for this movie so far? And if she said 20 versus 500, that would be a big difference. Let's see if this crack investigator maybe asked that question.
And then, is anyone allowed to bring their personal firearm?
She's got tats on her other arm, too. This woman is a tat maniac. Oh, my God. No one...
Firearms on the set?
No.
Did you see anybody bring personal firearms?
No.
And did you ever see anyone bring ammo?
No.
Okay. Did anybody ask you?
I couldn't understand any of her damn questions.
No.
Did you see anybody bring personal firearms?
No.
And did you ever see anyone bring ammo?
No.
Okay.
They said, did you ever see anyone bring their own firearm or bring ammo?
Did anybody ask you about going target shooting?
Yeah. The Wranglers made a joke about it one time to me.
Okay, I want you to notice her body language here changed a little bit. Let's go back to where she's here, and I'm interested, and I'm talking, and I'm close to you. And then when you start getting into live rounds, not only does she move backwards, she puts that pin by her ear, and her pin is the extension of her hand. And when the hands go by the ears, eyes, nose, or mouth, it's a deception. I'm holding something back. I don't want to say it. I know I'm wrong. I don't want to hear this. This is a very key sign that she shows really clear. Watch her body.
Personal firearms?
No.
And did you ever see anyone bring ammo?
No.
Distance, ear, farther away.
Okay. Did anybody ask you about going target shooting?
Yeah. The Wranglers made a joke about it one time to me, and I said something to the effect of, well, you can try, you don't have the ammo.
Okay. What did they say? Do you remember?
Not really.
So I remember saying it, but I don't remember who said it. How about what Wrangler said it? How many Wranglers were there? Do you remember the names of the Wranglers that was there when that was said? When you said you can try, you don't have the ammo. What did you mean, try? Does the Wranglers have access to the guns? Do they have access to the blanks? That's a nice line of questioning.
I don't really remember what they said.
But they insinuated about shooting an actual round.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they were joking, though.
Okay.
Why do you think they were joking? If you think that, why?
A lot of boys on set will be like, oh my God.
A lot of boys on the set. Aw. If a guy says the girls on the set, he would be a sexist. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Let's go.
Can we go shoot the guns? It's just, yeah.
So no one pressured you into...
No one ever seriously pressured me into it.
No one ever seriously pressured. Does that mean they pressured you not seriously?
What about Sarah?
What about Sarah?
Did she ever mention anything about...
Shooting? No. Sarah, yeah, no. She never mentioned anything about shooting, and we left every day at the same time and pretty much got there just around a little after each other.
Okay. So as far as safety protocols on set, do you recall any sort of safety protocols during the time of the production?
God, this mumbling freaking detective drives me nuts. I would... See, this is because nobody told her when she was working, if she ever worked the streets and had an FTO, you need to speak up. You need to be assertive. You need to make sure you're in an important job that people need to understand you because lives are at risk. Quit the freaking mumbling and what about, oh my God, this fucking participation trophy hiring shit.
We had a couple of safety meetings. A lot of days we did not, which normally it's typical anytime that there's firearms or live animals on set or open flame, you do a safety meeting. So a lot of those...
Typically. Do you do them every time or you don't? How many times did you not do them when you should have?
Days we did not have a safety meeting. Other than that...
Who hosted them?
Huh?
Who hosted those safety meetings?
Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were about?
Guns, like the guns and everything.
When did she put her leg up on the chair like that? I must have missed that. That's kind of open.
We also said, you know, because actors will leave guns around sometimes, they'll forget them.
You're in the middle of a police interview where you might be charged with freaking negligent homicide. And she's kicking back with her legs wide open. What the fuck? Now look, if I was interviewing, I would not say anything about this. I wouldn't react to it, and I would ignore it. But I would recognize, what is going... Is this woman this relaxed and not caring? To me, this is just typical of her nonchalant, everything is no big deal, I don't care, no professionalism, no awareness of how she appears or what she... No control of herself and what she does. All this just really looks bad for her. I mean, can you imagine a person on a witness stand doing this while they're giving testimony? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a witness on the witness stand do it. I've never had a girl in an interview room spread her freaking legs and put her legs up like that in the middle of a freaking interview. And if I was her attorney, I'd say, hang on a second. I would lean over. She'd have to put her leg down, and I would whisper, don't spread your legs like that. It doesn't give a good impression, and it looks like you're not taking this seriously. Rick, you're just a big meanie, and she's equal, and why are you always picking? You freaking shut up, you crazy people.
So we always told people, you know, like, don't ever touch a gun if you see it, you know, because Jensen totally left his on the snack bar one time. Yeah. And we found that pretty promptly. But
isn't your snack bar down at base camp?
No.
Where was it?
It's on set. We can't, like, go all the way back to base for snacks.
Well, so I was like, oh.
No, our I think you're thinking of the cafeteria.
Yeah, maybe
lunch. Yeah, no, we have Crafty on set really close.
Is it really cold in here? This woman's wrapped up like she's freaking in a freaking freezer. Look at this big... This guy... Nobody looks cold. This woman's wrapped up with a freaking big old thing around... Maybe she's hiding tattoos on her neck.
Close to set most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that would be interesting. Talking about the snack bar, like the little, like...
What the fuck is she saying? Are you kidding me?
I was like, oh, that would be interesting. Talking about the snack bar, like the little, like, trailer that has all the...
No. Just Crafty. Just a table on set with, like, nutritious bars on it.
My favorite part of getting to work movie sets is...
Oh, yeah.
Have, like, a little...
I love when they have the trailer. Yeah, those are the legit ones. This one was, like, stupid cheap. Yeah, they like barely let her make soup for us. They barely let her make soups for us, and she had to fight hard for the soup. I called Becca the soup angel. She fought.
Okay, so I'm kind of cracking on this girl kind of hard for being unprofessional and not really presenting anything that would make me feel safe around her with freaking guns. However, she appears to be pretty honest when the way she's talking and conducting herself. She doesn't appear... Somebody that acts like this, when they do change and start hiding, you'll be able to tell. So right now, she really just doesn't give a shit. I mean, it is apparent that she has no shits to give.
Hard for those soups.
Did you ever see safety bulletins?
Where would they be posted, I wonder? Sometimes they would put some things in the call sheet, like some safety bulletins and everything.
Do you remember what they said?
I think they would pertain to COVID. They would pertain to, like firearms on set. They would pertain to live animals. It's usually kind of like in red on the call sheets.
Okay.
Other than that, they would sometimes in an email, like, put it in red, like anything you needed to know about the day.
Do you still have those emails?
I think I might have some of those emails still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want
Yes.
to grab those?
Yeah,
because,
sure.
that's, obviously
Yeah.
a big, who distributes, could you guys get...
I can't believe they haven't done a warrant for this girl's email account and got her emails. Again, I'm not real sure how long this interview happened, but it's plenty of time for her to change clothes, to get a new attorney. I've got to say this has been at least a week after the event, and they still haven't done a warrant on this girl's emails. That would be the first things I'd be knocking out, is I want everybody's emails accounts, and I want all their texts and their phone data, so I can figure out what the hell is being talked about, and I can verify whether or not safety protocols were being ignored, talked about, discussed, etc. She's asking, do you still have any of those emails? I would know, because I would have her whole email account. Rick, you're a big tyrannical bootleg. Whatever. If I'm doing an investigation, I want information.
Would get call sheets the night before.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim Becerra usually sent them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is his position?
He is also an assistant director, but he's more of the type where he is never on set and his only job is sitting in the office and creating these schedules and doing all the paperwork.
So he's normally out.
Yeah, he's normally never on set, that poor boy.
All right. Who would you say is in charge of those safety meetings that were being held?
Dave, and then the first time we did it, he let me speak. Yeah, and I told people, these are regular weapons we have on set. Don't stand in front of them. Don't point them at anybody. And then after that, the only other one we had was the day of, and Dave kind of just covered.
I'm going to turn on
that.
this CC because
Okay.
maybe it'll pick up what the hell this mumbling.
No,
detective's
entirely. He
saying.
just told everybody, we do have, blanks on set. We are going to have a lot of gunfire today. Real guns on set. No one touched them,
Okay.
No, I don't know. I want to know what you said. I don't want you telling me you know. I don't know what you said. Is this written down? Is there training on this? Is there any standard things that you have? Is there a checklist that you use when you say that? No, I just know what I say. Okay, give me a safety briefing as if we were on a set right now. I want you to give me a safety briefing. I want to know what she's saying.
Things like that, and also things about the horses he told.
When did you host a safety meeting?
I never hosted one all by myself.
Okay. What you said that he let you do one, though?
He let me hop in on his.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, Hannah, do you have anything else to add? And I said, yeah. And I said, let's be safe, no one be standing in the way of these things, and just, don't be, if it's pointing in that direction, don't stand in front of it.
Okay. Do you remember what day that was, though?
That was the first day we had gunfire on set, which I believe...
This would be a great time to ask, how many days did you have gunfire? Is the gunfire scheduled? Is there a written schedule on days that you're going to have gunfire and when you don't? On days that you don't have gunfire, what do? Do you have gunfire every day? I mean, I still don't know what this woman does, and this is her second police interview.
Was the second day that we started on set filming.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what do you teach actors or crew members when it comes to gun safety?
So it really also depends on the actors, too. Big ones like...
Everything depends. That means no consistency, no checklist, no standardization. That's how accidents happen. The reason why you have checklist standardization is you don't want things slipping through the cracks. I'm a big checklist guy. In the Air Force, we use checklists for just about everything. When I was in police work, I made a lot of checklists. Police use some checklists, but checklist to me is I have a checklist when I hook up my horse trailer, so I know I go through certain steps and I don't miss a step and end up losing a trailer with my horses in it. Checklist keeps things consistent. Anybody that does important shit that they don't want mistakes because mistakes cost lives have checklists and standardizations. This girl is everything. It depends. Sometimes, maybe, well, not all the time, you know.
Nick Cage, if they tell me, if they tell the director, like, you know, that they don't really care to do it, I can try to teach them for the most part, but, like, a lot of the times they might not even listen to me or really pay attention or be on their phone. Alec was on his phone a lot of that entire thing.
Man, she's throwing Alex under the bus. He's weird and he wants to use full blanks, and he's on the phone a lot and doesn't listen. Now, I believe her. I think Alex is kind of probably arrogant, been doing this for a year, and I don't need to listen to you. You're a peon. We're just checking boxes, and I don't really need to hear this shit. I believe that. But that's the problem with not having standardization and having people either initial that, hey, you got the safety checklist. Here's what I just told you. Would you initial here? Oh, we can't ask an actor that. Well, that's why you got actors and crew members being dead.
But for the most part...
For the most part, I love this. For the most part, sometimes, maybe, not always, but, you know.
They put me in training this time. It was pretty irregular how I trained actors this time. This time, they put 9 people all together in one day.
So this was really irregular this time. She's only been on one other movie. I mean, this would have been a perfect chance saying, you said this is really irregular. What do you mean by that? How many movies have you done where you've trained actors? From what I know so far, she's only done one. So now she could say, well, I work with my dad on 50 movies. And out of those 50 movies, I've never had this many people. That would be relevant. But nobody's drawing out that information.
That I was supposed to train. And during this time, they put a ton of producers right there. Normally, I train the actors one-on-one. It makes them feel comfortable. It allows them to not be distracted and everything. And this time, they had me training 3 people at once. And
notice how the interviewer is letting her get away with they. Who is they? Who was in charge? Who tells you? Who directs you? Who is your immediate boss? Who makes all these decisions? Yeah, we'll never know that shit because we have quota hire extraordinaire Wonder Woman conducting the interview.
A ton of producers behind me. The director is there too.
A ton of producers. I mean, most people who aren't even interviewers would be like, when you say a ton of producers, what's a ton? I mean, how many freaking producers have they got? A ton? I mean, is that 2 really big fat producers? Or is that like 15 skinny producers? Can you explain to me what a ton of freaking producers is? Are you kidding me?
The producers are talking to the actors. The actors were distracted even, too. And I tried my best to work with all 3 of them. I worked with Jensen. You could probably see a video of him saying, like...
So, in this case, where she does this, and she can't articulate what I think she's saying, I would end up helping her and saying, it sounds like you're describing a scene as chaotic and uncontrolled. Is that a reasonable assessment of what your training was? Yes. Would you describe the scene as the information really wasn't being taken seriously and people weren't paying attention because they were doing other things? Yes. So if you have somebody that's explaining this and they don't explain it well, this is when you're supposed to earn your paycheck instead of just demanding a paycheck because of what bathroom you use. And to be fair, this is where you earn your paycheck and you get out information. Oh, so frustrating to watch this.
She showed me, like, this is how you check it.
And people will be like, well, Rick, what do you care? You're out of it. Why are you frustrated? There is a woman that is dead. And if somebody is liable, they should be found and held accountable. I'm always preaching accountability. And I want accountability for cops, for government, and criminals. And I think there's criminal negligence here. But, you know, and that's the only way Hollywood will change what they're doing. And this may prevent someone else from getting killed if they charge somebody. But if they blow it off and they put this inept freaking tattooed maniac here in charge of the interview, and everybody walks free and nobody can make a case, and the DA is like, shit, you haven't given me anything to charge. I'm not charging anybody because of your shitty investigation. He won't say that. You really did a great investigation. Sometimes we just can't make the case. And, you know, I just want you to know I'm not charging. It's not because we have to be sensitive. We have to blow each other's ego up, even when you're a freaking idiot. So, you know, he won't say that your interview sucked. You didn't give me information. How the hell do you want me to charge something because of your shitty investigation? He won't say that, but that's exactly what's going on. I'm at 30 minutes. I'll make a part 2.